Hello everyone and welcome to the B-side. My name's Bruno Luce. Thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to do a review of this guitar, which is a Breedlove Atlas Retro OM SME. Quite a mouthful to say. Now before we get into playing the guitar, a little bit of background about Breedlove. Now Breedlove Guitars was founded by Larry Breedlove and Steve Henderson in 1990, and when they founded the company they were both employees at Taylor Guitars, and they did so with the full knowledge and blessing of Bob Taylor. That's what I read. And the company was headquartered in Bend, Oregon in the USA. And when they originally produced their guitars, there were two key structural components in their original designs. First of all, they used a graduated top, meaning that it was thinner on the bass side and thicker on the treble side. They felt that this gave better balance across the tonal spectrum. And the other thing which was very distinctive to Breedlove guitars was the bridge truss system. So on the USA made Breedloves, if you look inside, you can actually see a truss that is supposed to transfer the energy from the bridge to the tail block and thence to the sides. It was originally conceived as a sort of fix for guitars that had very severe belly to the top, and later they simply incorporated it into their guitars. So time went on. In 1994, Larry Breedlove returned to Taylor Guitars, and as far as I know, he's currently working on the R. Taylor line. Steve Henderson left the company in 2001 and opened his own woodworking shop building custom furniture, and as far as I know he's still there, and he occasionally makes custom guitars. To this day the company is led by Kim Breedlove, a younger brother of Larry, who joined right around the time that his elder brother left, and he still is helming the company to this day. He is their chief designer and their visionary, apparently. So what about the Breedlove Atlas series, of which this is one? The Atlas series was introduced in 2003 as an affordable alternative to the USA made models. The idea was that the Atlas series would be a production line instrument built in Korea and then shipped back to the USA for final setup and inspection. Now, the Atlas Retro series were 4 models, which are all Martin inspired. Now, if you look at this, you'll notice that it looks quite a bit like a Martin OM. There were 2 Dreadnoughts and there were 2 OMs, or Orchestra Models, of which this is one. Within the 2, you had one which was solid Engelmann spruce top with rosewood back and sides, and you had the other which was solid Sitka spruce top with solid Honduran mahogany back and Honduran mahogany sides. So that's this one. The OM, obviously, Orchestra Model. S stands for Sitka spruce top. M stands for Honduran mahogany back and sides. You can see there. The back is solid and the sides are laminate. And the E obviously stands for electronics. And we'll get more into the electronics as time goes by. So what about this exact guitar here? Now this guitar is long out of production. The retro line no longer exists, although it is Breedlove still do have some guitars made in Korea. That's my understanding. So this is an OM size body, plastic nut and saddle, Grover Stay Tight vintage open gear tuners. You'll have a close-up as you can see there. They look kind of like Waverleys, but they are not anywhere near Waverleys in terms of quality. Rosewood fingerboard, rosewood bridge with plastic bridge pins, and the guitars also have a rosewood head cap, which is very tasteful. They have a 14 fret neck joint, 20 frets total, and they have this relatively small teardrop shaped tortoiseshell pickguard. The guitar also has tortoiseshell binding and black, white, black purfling and a very simple rosette. So the overall aesthetic is very austere, very minimalist, very basic, which I personally quite like. The fingerboard is bound. I'm not sure what it's bound in. Looks like black plastic to me, and has white position dots there and small abalone dots along the front. The guitars came with original Breedlove hardshell case. This particular guitar has the Dario EXP 16 strings on it. Obviously these are not the original strings. I think originally they came with elixirs. Dimensions, scale length is 650 millimeters, 65 cm. Nut width is 1 11/16 or 42.5 millimeters. The lower bout across 385 millimeters, and the depth of the body is 11.8 cm. So the guitar is a very comfortable guitar to play, and if you're a smaller person or if you just like small body guitars as I do, this is definitely one to consider. Obviously, being discontinued, they're no longer available on the primary market, so you'd be looking at secondhand or very old stock. Right, let's have a listen to the way it sounds. So first of all, the acoustic sound. Our setup, the microphone today is an Audio-Technica AE3000 side address large diaphragm microphone, and it is being run directly into the camera. No preamp, no EQ. Automatic gain control on the camera is switched off. So in terms of the sound, sounds about like what you'd expect a mahogany OM to sound like. It has the chime, and it also has the full robust mid-range. A good all-around guitar, good fingerstyle if you don't mind the slightly thinner nut, and also good strumming. So yeah, general all-purpose. Bear in mind, of course, this guitar is 6 years old, and it has been played kind of lightly during that period. Not intensively, but it hasn't been stored in the closet for 6 years, that's for sure. Compared to more expensive guitars, I do find that the sound is a little bit compressed, not so open, right? Which is what you expect on a bit more of a budget guitar, which is what this is. Now, this is not a cheap guitar. I believe when they were new, the retail was around 1,000 US. So good quality, good workmanship all around. The one problem that I have noticed is the tuners. These Grover open back tuners, they do not hold their tuning as well as, say, Goto's or Hipshot, something like that. And I think you can hear that even then during the demo, the tuning was beginning to drift a little bit. So definitely something to consider upgrading if you're going to play this guitar intensively. For just day-to-day use, they're perfectly fine. And of course, the onboard preamp does come with a tuner, which makes it easy to correct when things start to drift. So now let's discuss the guitar's preamp and electronics. One of the attractions of the Retro series, of course, is that they came stock with electronics. Nothing to add, plug and play simplicity. So the guitar features a standard undersaddle piezo pickup, and it has an LR Baggs LRTCV tuner preamp. I believe the undersaddle pickup is also by LR Baggs. The tuner preamp is quite unique to this series. I haven't been able to find it on the on the LR Baggs website, and I haven't actually seen it in any of the other guitars, so it may have been an OEM arrangement that Baggs had with Breedlove at the time. As you can see from the picture, it has a relatively large control panel. It's about the same size as that on the Takamines. It has a LCD screen, which is very nice, and the idea there is that when your note is out of tune, the screen is orange, and when you're in tune, it changes to green, which is a very helpful visual reference. You have bass, middle, and treble, as well as a presence control, and you have volume, phase, and an onboard tuner switch. You also have a small red light that warns you when the battery is low. So let's hear how this sounds. Setup for this is the guitar is plugged into a radial JDI passive direct box, and from there into the camera. Once again, no EQ, and automatic gain control is switched off. Volume on the guitar is wide open, and EQ is set flat. With that, this is the kind of sound that you get. So as you can hear, the sound is pretty mediocre. It's about what you'd expect from a undersaddle piezo pickup with 6-year-old technology. Not bad at all, just nothing special. Alright, now I have found that with the phase control in, it does sound better, so I'm going to activate that. The other thing is I found that it does sound a little bit better with the middle control cut slightly, so I'll do that. So you apparently get plus minus 12 dB. I'm just going to cut it by about a third of the way, so maybe 4 dB, right? Then you get this kind of sound. Variations on that, you can boost the bass a little bit, it gives you this kind of sound. push up the presence control slightly. Yeah, so not bad, not fantastic, but quite usable. Run this through a preamp like a Boss 83, 85, or any high quality acoustic guitar preamp. I'm sure you get a usable sound. So that's my review of the Breedlove Retro OM SME. Did I say that right? Breedlove Atlas Retro OM SME. There you go. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. This is Bruno Luce for GL B-Side, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.